Mr. Treasurer, you've been very generous with your time. By way of a close, at some point down the road a ways, you'll look back on your experience as state treasurer of one of the most successful public pension funds in the country. By what measures are you personally likely to then judge your own success in this role?
I will judge my success on a number of metrics. One is what I believe everybody else will judge me on is how did the pension fund perform? Did I maximize long-term performance on a risk-adjusted basis? And that is a metric that, and a standard as a fiduciary that I apply to myself and I expect to be judged by. I will also be judged by, I believe, this pandemic, this once in 100 years pandemic.
You didn't script it, but you have it. It's on your watch.
It's on my watch.
Right.
And how prepared were we? What did we do to navigate through it? And how did we come out on the other end? And, at least so far, and I will, with humility, say, the jury's, of course, still out. My investment team is doing a good job, both in terms of positioning and managing through. I will also, on a personal level, judge myself on how did I use this role while I sat in this chair, consistent with my duties as a fiduciary. How did I do it to move the needle and make the state of Connecticut better, to make our nation better, to make our industry better? And in this moment, where we're in the midst of the global pandemic, we're dealing with our racial epidemic that we've been living through for centuries. An important part of that is, did we make things better in terms of closing the opportunity gaps for people of color in our country? Did I do everything I could in my power to make a difference? And that is why I made the corporate call to action, in which, and I started writing it actually after the death of Ahmaud Arbery. I thought I was done on the day of the Amy Cooper and Christian Cooper incident in Central Park, and George Floyd's death. And calling on, I said, what can I do in the space in which I occupy that may be unique from many others who care about these issues? And I have leaned in, calling on corporate America, and in particular the financial services industry, to get off the sidelines, take a stand against racism, to look in the mirror, to make your organizations better, top to bottom. That's corporate boardrooms, C-suites, diversity, pipeline programs, promotion and opportunities within your firms, but also to look outside of your windows. And looking out there, how can you move the needle on some of these deep structural challenges that our nation faces? And beyond the PR statements, and all of the firms have them, and they're circulating with their employees and with the public. Beyond that, and after the protesting stops, what's the work that you're willing to do, CEO, to make these disparities smaller and to have our nation realize its true aspirations? And so next steps, I'm engaging CEOs, convening them around closing economic disparities in our society. And I'm actively in the midst of convening that. And I say we will have significant police reform done at the state and, knock on wood, federal level within the next 10 months. But the work that I'm talking about is a commitment at least to the next 10 years. And that's the conversation I'm having every day as we speak with CEOs and engaging them to focus on that. And so I also believe that I know I will judge myself on whether or not I have moved the needle in a significant way around issues of diversity and inclusion.